Good afternoon. This is Casey, 5 Tons of Guns, coming back with you. And today we're going to talk about this little shovel right here. And I've had this little shovel for about 30 years. I have camped with it. I've cleaned out my fireplace with it. I've harvested rangeland with it. I've used it to whack weeds with, and it travels with me in my car wherever I go. And I thought it was just another World War II type European shovel, probably German. But this one here is special because after having used it and I found leathering on it, I started looking at the leathering and I cleaned it up more, and you can see it's 1911 right here. So before we get started on this, I need to give some credit where credit is due. And that credit goes to Active Adam, and that would be Lance and Patrick. And they've got a good YouTube channel. They got a lot of neat tools and such. But Patrick steered us in the direction of this paint. The lacquer stick. And with it, you can make leathering come out that never was there. And that's what we have used on this. Now, if you get another close-up here, I want to continue on. You can see the grinding marks. They almost ground out the line. And I've been told that was to get rid of the, to demill it and get rid of all the markings. This little shovel goes to the Russian. It goes back to the Russian Imperial Army, 1911, before the Bolsheviks took over. And then this hole, which is kind of a jagged hole on the back, you can see some burrs and feel them. Not very well drilled or punched out. But this hole, which I thought might have been like some kind of a socket for a wire cutting arrangement. This hole was to take out the imperial crest of Imperial Russia. The thing is extremely well made. We got 5 rivets here. The handle is still tight after over 100 years. And it's a well-built tool. These apparently were demilled after the Germans captured these, and then they reissued them to their troops. That's how the story goes. So many different armies had the same type of shovel, and I thought this was just an ordinary shovel, but to me it is not. These little shovels are kind of like the last holdover from the battle axe, you might say. They're a good weapon. You can dig with them, hand to hand, trench warfare. They're a good thing to have. Now, the Soviet Army, let's stop and give a little bit more background here. There's a good description of the use of these by Mr. Vladimir Rezin, and he wrote 3 books under the pen name of Victor Suvorov, and he was right out of the Soviet military intelligence, and he gives a good write-up on how the Army, every soldier, can use these. Also, they are, he describes them as being 15 centimeters wide, 18 centimeters tall on the blade, and then an overall length of 50 centimeters, so that whenever you put 2 of these together, you've got 1 meter. And he goes on like, whenever you halt, why you lay down flat, and in 3 minutes, you should have a hole this deep, 15 centimeters deep, where you can lay down in for your firing position. And then later on, your hole develops to where you've got soldiers where they can get together, and dugouts too. But he goes into a good description on these. We're going to have the story about him and his description on the shovel. One particular part here I have highlighted where they, in training specialized troops, they lock a soldier in a room with a mad dog with his entrenching tool as a weapon. Anyway, I've got one of his books here, and it is really very interesting reading how they do things over there. Now, I consider this a good tool, and it's strong. After 100 years, you know, I have abused it, left it out in the weather, and such. And another innovation of theirs with the entrenching tool is that in 1930, they made one of these into a 37 millimeter mortar, where every infantryman had a 37 millimeter mortar integrated with this E-tool, entrenching tool. And he had like 16 rounds of 37 millimeter mortar shells to use. And I thought that was an interesting story about that. Now we're going to give you the story about that later on, right here, and you'll see a picture of it, and there's a description and some good history on it that I don't really need to go into, and you can buy a replica here. Again, it's Sarco. But anyway, we have the pre-World War I and up to 1943, I believe, with this design. Same design all over Europe. I believe that the Soviet design, the Russian design, is the 5 riveter. And the Germans, I believe they were spot welded like in 6 or 7 places there. But this is good workmanship here. Now I'm going to show you what uh, our equivalent was in World War II. And that is this. This is a obvious replica, a fake, but it's the closest I can get. I do have a real copy, but I cannot lay my hands on it. But this is similar to the World War II up into Vietnam, and the Vietnam type had a integral pick that would also fold out and fold down. Now, as far as I know, here's our current issue. It's got a nice poly plastic container for it. And here's how that is. Proof mark is in the handle. Ames, 1984. And on the other side, we have US. The carrier is also marked 84, and I can't quite get the name of the maker of it. Ames, this is the maker of this is Ames. That's out of Ames, Iowa. They make hoes, and shovels, and such. But anyway, that's I think I've covered everything about the shovel. We're going to leave this book and all this reading to where you can pause on it, and if you care to. And I especially like this one picture of this soldier. He looks like he's behind a Dreadnought. I can't pronounce it, but a machine gun on wheels. And it looks like he's had a rough day. Pretty good looking soldier. And here's another picture of them throwing these spades. You see how this man is choking up on the handle? I thought that was interesting. But yeah, you can throw these like an axe. But that'll be it for today, and we'll have another good video for you next week. We got a couple things in the mail, and in the wings, and you'll think that is exciting. And that'll be it for the day. And Mary Sue will give you a good shot up of the shovel, and also the filled-in paint stick. I am so thankful that I have this. Thank you for watching, and we'll get back with you on the next video. Bye-bye. be sure to get that ad on that board.